Hi, and welcome to Web Design 101. I'm Leanne Stevenson from webdevelopable.com, and in this module we're going to be looking at an introduction to HTML and some of the structure that forms HTML. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so first of all, what is HTML? Okay, well, to start off, it actually stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, some developers will argue that HTML, because it's a structure, isn't necessarily a programming language. But when we've been through, I'll let you make your own mind up about that. So, in the grand scheme of things, with HTML and CSS and that sort of thing, so where does HTML sit in all that? Well, it basically makes up your structure for a web page. So what it's going to be making up is it's going to be making up the foundation for your web page. So like anything that has to be built, so say we're building on top of a house, we've got to have a decent foundation in order to get the rest of the stuff in. So whilst we're talking about structure, let's think about this in terms of a car. Okay, so for a second, let's think about a car. All cars are built on a really similar structure. Elements, they can all be moved, they can be resized, we can change the mirrors, we can change the bumpers, and we can do little additions to the car which makes it unique. But ultimately a car is still a car. It still needs its frame, it needs its engine bay, and generally it needs four wheels unless we're talking about a Robin Reliant. So if we apply that back to our HTML, your engine bay is going to be your heading because it's some of the functionality that drives the car. And obviously we'll look at this in a lot more detail in a minute and find out how it relates, but this is just more of an overview. Okay, your frame is obviously going to be your main body because it's your main body of your car, and your wheels are going to be your footer, which is what keeps it on the ground and keeps it moving forward. So again, taking that, let's expand on it a little bit further. What we can do is we can make the car more attractive. If every car that drove on the roads looked exactly the same, then people might not buy them. So what we're going to do is we're going to call these attributes. Okay, and these are going to be things like lights, the windows, the wheels, trim, paint, things that change the car in some way, shape or form. Okay, now all of these things might not necessarily be essential to the way the car runs. However, they do give it its unique look. And it's exactly the same with HTML. So, just like a website, each car has its own set of customizations. So you can have the lights, and we can have different styles. So we can have angel eye, daylight lights, etc. For the paint, we can have various different colours, which again is just like a website. And you can have your window tints and change that up, and these all, so your style, so your lights, your paint, and your windows all make up your attributes. However, your angel eyes, daylight, your paint colours, your window tints, these are all the car's properties. These are things that the car has that makes it unique. So, this is my old car. Well, my first car actually. This is Clio, Fiat the Clio. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build this car up as if it were an object. Okay, so let's build a car. So it's called a Clio. Its lights are eagle eye lights. Its mirrors are square. Its paint is blue, and its windows tint is at 0%. And it's got a standard number plate. So, how does this all relate back to our HTML? So, let's pretend that we're now going to build that car, and we're going to build it in HTML. So where would we start? Okay. So, we're going to start where every car would start. We're going to start with the engine bay, the frame, and the wheels. But just for a second, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on just the frame. So, all HTML is made up out of tags, okay? And tags have to have a start point and they have to have an end point so that we know exactly what content is going where. And this is denoted here by the by the greater than and less symbols, and then you'll have the tag name inside. And then the end tag is differentiated by using the / there. Okay, so if we were going to make up our frame, here's a basic frame. This is an empty frame, okay? But this is just our standard car, and it's going to be really boring. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our attributes in. So now we have a frame with mirrors and windows, but it's still a little bit too plain. So now we're going to throw in some of the properties. And as you can see, what we've done there is we've basically said that the frame mirrors are going to be chrome and the frame windows are going to be tinted to 50%. So now we have something a little bit more different, something a little bit more exciting. Okay, and then finally what we do with the frame is we want to put our content in it, which is people. And this is exactly the same as with the website. So we're now going to have our car with our chrome mirrors and our 50% tinted windows, and we're going to have people sitting inside the frame. Now, this might all seem a little bit silly, okay? However, at the moment, what we're doing is we're just giving you a sort of a concept to relate to. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go into a quick demo and just show you how that does actually translate into proper HTML. Okay, so if we just open up our code window here. Okay, so the first thing that our HTML document needs to know is it needs to know that it is actually HTML. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start it off with a HTML tag, and then we're going to close that, and that basically makes up the starter of our page. Okay, and you'll see a nice little feature here of Microsoft Code is, because this is free to download on the internet for anyone, is if we save this and we actually save it as we'll save it on our desktop here, as a HTML document, and we do that by saying that it ends in .htm, or you can end it in .html as well. Two different ways. No particular advantage to naming it one after the other, just two different slightly conventions and everyone's different. So we'll save that. And now you can see that our tags here have gone blue. So inside that, I'm going to show you what we meant by engine bay frame and wheels. Okay, so inside every HTML document, we have to have a head section. Okay. Now, your head section isn't going to display on the page, it's going to be all hidden in the background, and it's for functionality. So your head is the place where we're going to define the CSS, which we're going to talk about later, and you'll also be defining things like the title as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a title in, and what the title is going to do is this is just going to display I can't talk and type at the same time. This is going to define what it says in the in this bar up here at the top when we open this up on our browser. So, and if you wanted to add CSS, you basically do this by adding a link in, and then you put all the other attributes in. But we're not going to do that for now. We're just going to leave this nice and basic. Okay, so now we've got our engine bay. We want to add our frame in, and our frame is a tag called body. And we'll just close that up there as well. Again, this is really basic. So if we were to open this up now, in fact, I'll show you what we got if we open this up now on a actual site. So if we like this, let me open this up. So as you can see, because we put things in our head, we have this is my first web page up here, but all this is blank because it has no content. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some content in. Don't worry too much about the tags that I'm using at the moment. We're going to go through these at a later date. But they're just basically to say sort of how big we want the text and where we want it to be and that sort of thing, because we can control all these, and we can control all these to such a finite way that we can get practically anything we want on the screen, including having things moving and having things exactly where we want them to be. But we're not going to worry about that for now. We just want to get something down on the page, okay? So we do the same again. This is my first spell web page. And we're going to use the classic developers Hello World. So, now what that's going to display when we open it back up and we reload the page is it's going to show a nice big heading at the top and Hello World in smaller text underneath. So, let's open that up and show you. So if we reload, and this is my first web page, Hello World, okay? So, that's your frame in your engine bay. And a nice new feature for HTML5 inside your body is going to be footer, which is your wheels. So traditionally, you can put anything you like in a footer. It depends whatever you want down there, but I mean traditionally you tend to put copyright notices in there. So we'll just put a quick to say it was me, and then again we'll reopen that up and we'll reload that. Okay, as you can see there's a little funny symbol there, but again just ignore that for now. I will explain what that is later. But you can see that it's come out of its own little section down there, and we've got a line break, and obviously it's already specified how much space we want to put between the header and this text. Okay, and that's all the standard layout that any browser will give you. Okay, so and there it is. We've created our first web page, and in essence we've created our first website. That is how easy this is. Okay. And what we're just going to be doing after that is styling up and things like that. So obviously it's not the web pages that you're used to seeing, but it is. But that is the essence of every single website. That is how every single website starts out life, and how every single developer starts out life with coding websites as well. So just come back to here. Okay, so that's it. So our next session is going to be on. Let's do this really quick. Typical. Okay, so next lesson is going to be putting it all together. So we'll have a look at some CSS. And we'll have a look at how to put that in the page, so we can look at how to make our website a little bit unique. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and let's crack on with some CSS next lesson.